Saying yes. That's right. But usually approval means we put an official stamp on it, right? If I say to him, so I approve, it would probably be slingless, right? It depends on how we're using it, right? If I say that it's a delicate situation, it means I don't want you to say anything because you might upset what's going on, right? So as long as you get that idea.
So what's that?
I would say the way it's used most often is something that's easy to tell anybody else, and I believe you won't, right? She fainted? What did she do? That's right. Basically, she fell asleep standing up and fell over.
Like a shot.
Exactly. How those words are connected, but not exactly.
Miss Lawrence, please contact the main office. Miss Lawrence, contact the office.
No. You can just breathe, you don't have to think, right?
Yeah.
Your heart's beating, I hope. I mean, not Justin because he doesn't have a heart, but everybody else, right? So, those are unconscious actions for your body, meaning what? It just does.
Just want to get this play.
So, like when I talk and I move my hand around, I'm not thinking. I'm not saying, okay, now move to the left, and then right, and then do this, and then point it. You don't do that. They use that in sports too, especially in basketball. They use that one, so he's unconscious. That's true. In sports, if a player is unconscious, either they're injured, or if they're playing. Let's say that Jose is playing, he's playing really well.
Down. In the top part, you have to put down.
You know, someone hits you.
Anything else I should put in?
All right. It backs up what Utterson was thinking. If you can't fix it, then there must be that. What else could it be, right? Makes sense. All right, and how long is it from the conversation in chapter 3 until the murder in chapter 4? 1 year.
That's one.
6-0.
How long? He says in chapter 3, he can't fix the problem, but also that he promises the problem will go away, right? Yeah. So it does for a year, and then it comes back. Obviously, the little girl.
No.
That was a small case, happened at that time. Think of it this way: if Hyde had killed the little girl, not just stepped on her, but killed her and run around the world.
Well, I serve food, I make
How many times have you
food,
read in the paper, 2 people killed?
I mainly serve things to people.
This first section here, because it's important about the part where it says the unusually horrible crime. A crime that attracted particular attention because of the high social position of the victim. With white hair, who was coming along the narrow street and walking towards him, was another gentleman, a very small one, of whom at first she took less notice. Of course, that's Mr. Hyde. When they met just below the girl's window, the older man greeted the other very politely. It did not seem as if he had anything very important to say. In fact, on that occasion, she made an immediate dislike to him. He had in his hand a very heavy walking stick, which he was playing all by. The girl could hear the bones cracking. At the horror of these sights and sounds, she then fainted. All right. So, brutal crime, right? Very violent. But what makes it special? Well, what makes it special is what comes first. The description of the event. Does Mr. Hyde, probably, we don't know, right? But does Mr. Hyde know this guy? No. Was this guy being rude?
Unless there is some violence.
There you go. So it comes down to then why did he do this?
So how did he kill that? Sounds like it was crack.
Yeah, I mean, what you would normally see in a case like this, right? And in the regular, the regular novel, they have the author writes about the investigators, and they talk about how it looks like a crime of passion, meaning someone was really, really angry. But usually you have a reason for that, right? What's the difference between this case and somebody else? If they find my body beaten up so badly I died. Usually it's got to be someone who knew me, right? There has to be a reason. I must have done something or whatever, right? In this case, there's no connection. There's no reason. So that's the question. Now, does that make it easier or harder to find the killer? Harder. You've got no reason for the killer.
Especially in space.
Exactly. So I'm going to throw in a couple of other words for you here. Alright, first of all, what's that bottom word? Insane. What's
Crazy.
that? Crazy. Now we use crazy a lot more commonly, right? When you're describing somebody who's really crazy, we say insane, right? Crazy is one of those kind of things we use, oh, he was crazy, he felt crazy. It just means he was not usual, right? But insane is the term you use to describe somebody who's actually sick in their head. All right, now, connect those two. I'm sure you've heard this one, right? All right. Does anyone know this one?
I have heard.
You've heard of it, but not sure? They're a little bit different. I always think it's easiest to explain these in a simple context. Insane means you don't know what is real. Basically, that's how we define it. You don't understand what reality is. Your view of the world is not the same as we do. Or Jose. Psychopath and sociopath have that insane in them, but in a different way. You can see this part here where it says social, right? Socio? Okay, it comes from this word. Social means what? Society. Yeah, that's right. Now, if you look at the end part of this, now, don't think about path as in the road, right? That's a negative context. That means there's some sort of violence involved when you add it to that. A social person means they're friendly. Sociopath, yeah. Now, these are different. This guy up here, they're crazy. This guy's not crazy. Knows what is wrong, knows what they do, but doesn't care. That's right. A sociopath is very unique in science. So they get married, they have children, but they don't understand what love is. In fact, the opposite is also true. They don't understand what hate is. They don't get it. It's like a part of the brain is because they do. You got married, I was supposed to get married. So often a sociopath will live their whole life and not do any violence. In that show, he's killed a couple of people that he shouldn't have killed. He doesn't feel bad. He just kind of goes, oh, damn it. Son of a... Sociopath knows what's right and wrong. In other words, like the character Dexter, he knows he will get in trouble. So he hides it. So if I'm a sociopath and I have a reason for killing Jose, I'm not going to do it today or tomorrow. I might do it 2 years from now. You kill everybody in the house. What's his answer? They were home. That's a psychopath. Because to them, they don't understand why you have a problem with them doing that. Like, but what does he do when the crime's finished?
Run away.
He runs.
Yeah.
Now, does a psychopath run away?
No, sociopath.
Sociopath. Right, so you're supposed to see it all the time. There's all of this represented. Right? He has this, do you think he can control himself?
No.
No, that's obvious, right? That's the insane part. Right? Why did he kill that guy? Well, we don't know. Was there a reason? Yes. So if you ever watch crime shows, right? It's a simple idea. If you have a child, right? Like if I take my daughter to a store and she steals a candy bar, do you think someone wants to send her to jail? She doesn't understand she's stealing. So you don't punish them. That's why we don't punish kids. So the same question is asked of you have doctors, but he's never getting out. So it's the same idea. But the idea is that key. If you understand what you're doing, you know what's right and wrong, then you're not crazy. In this case, I agree with what John said. You can't answer that. It seems like at the moment he doesn't understand what he's doing, but then afterwards he does. That's unique. You're not going to you don't do it, or you don't care, or you think you can kill somebody for their color of shoes. That's the thing about psychopaths too. In this one, he doesn't really fit that definition because he doesn't hide anything he does, right? Like if I killed Jose and I'm a psychopath, I would go to my car with the axe covered in blood and just put it in the back seat. Covered in blood, I go to the store, buy an ice cream cone. The rest of the story. So as long as you get that, you're fine, right? The rest of the details, we were talking about that before as well with the description of them. Everybody has trouble describing it. That also goes along with this idea. He's a mixture of things. He doesn't fit. And that idea of split personality is basically where that comes from, right? Who is this guy? He's nobody. And Yeah. So he likes hanging out in the bad part of town, basically, right? Now, why do you think that is? The question is that easier to hide, or is it because he enjoys it?
Yeah, it's easy to hide.
The hide seems a natural answer, right? What evidence does the policeman have to prove that Hyde did the crimes? How do they know? Oh, right, of course.
And the police are gonna read them in the back.
Yeah. Gotcha, right. Yeah, you're gonna need money, of course. Thank you. Okay, very good. Right, any questions? Spend a lot of time on chapter 4 because it's important. The other ones will go a little faster, but as long as you understand this, what we're talking about here is books. Whatever. Catcher in the Rye. It's painful.
Right. I understand.
Did you like it?
No.
Yeah. It's painful. It's painful.
But it's sad that you can't find the meaning on.
But see, but that's not unique. I read that book. I understood it. I read it, but I didn't get it. Meaning, I read it, finished it to show the American dream and why the American dream was empty. I get it. I just didn't care. Right? So I could explain that, but I still didn't care. Whatever. Because reading the book was no tables, open packing cases were scattered around the floor. A weak light fell through the dusty window high in the roof. The far end stairs led up to the doctor's study. That's mentioned a lot here. What does that mean if you have a doctor's study? We don't usually use that expression.
Experiment.
No. I mean, wait. Yes, but no. No, you're right, but it is. If you said that here, that would be a little strange. All right. This was a large room lit by three old windows. And now, said Mr. Utterson, as soon as the butler had left them, "You've heard the news?" The doctor trembled. "They were crying it in the square," he said. "I heard them from my dining room." "One word," said the lawyer. "I was Carew's professional advisor, as I am yours. I want to know what I'm doing. You haven't been mad enough to hide this from me." "Utterson, I swear to God," cried the doctor. "I swear to God, I finished with him. I was thinking of my own good name, which this horrible business is rather put in danger." Utterson thought for a moment. He was surprised at his friend's words, and yet relieved by them. "Well," he said at last, "let me see the letter." "Word more. Was it Hyde who made you put that sentence in your will about disappearance?" The doctor suddenly looked terribly weak. He shut his mouth tightly, but his expression made it clear that his friend's guess was correct. Surely then he had better see a letter that helped to explain the mystery of the lawyer. Just then a servant entered with a note. "Is that from Dr. Jekyll, sir?" inquired the clerk. "It is?" "Thought I recognized the writing. Anything private, Mr. Utterson?" "Only an invitation to dinner. Why? You want to see it?" "For a moment, sir, if I may." And the clerk laid two pieces of paper down next to each other. Usual guest agreed. "It would be unwise to speak this guest," said his employer. "Yes, sir," the clerk replied. "I understand." No sooner was Mr. Utterson alone that night when he locked the letter signed Edward Hyde in his safe, where it lay from then on. "What?" he whispered to himself. "Would General Hyde..." "Oh, regular person." "Oh, okay." "Yeah." It's like guys. Well, that's uniquely Canadian guys work. These guys can be really good. You guys. What that test? What did I tell you? See? You're fine.
Right,
I'm going to be playing down in basketball this year.
Why is that? You guys, the sounds of it, you got some nice little players in grade 9 too.
Yeah, and we
Look
both
at this.
run into that wall. We're tired of the wall. You know, 650 student school facing up against a quad A. All right.
You had to tell me what you do using action verbs.
Yep.
See, this is where. Okay, hold on a second here.
After I edit this, I'm probably gonna have to run out for my bus, so.
Oh no, go ahead. We have tomorrow morning.
Okay, that works then. Alright. I'll just fix it.
Okay.
There's a reason that the NFL and NBA players have film day, you know?
They were talking about the NBA that the first startup date will be, if it happens. Oh, the long pass and intercepted for us. That's good.
I gotta admit, the longer this has gone on, the more I side with the owner.
Well,
And I think it's simply because the
Mr.
players
Mancuso, contact the main office, please.
seem to be,
Mr.
I
Mancuso?
don't know, greedy is the wrong word, because I mean, they're playing, but they're just not making their case, I guess. A week. They had this, Shatner was doing a, I don't know, press tour or something like that, right?
right.
And the Star got him to guest edit. And he said he was, he kind of grew up on the thing. He was a big fan, so it was hard enough for him to sit through the interview being professional, like,
Right,
what are you
right,
guys
right.
doing now? And that kind of thing. He says, well, inside his head, he goes, I'm interviewing Captain Kirk, I'm interviewing Captain Kirk, right? So he gets into the elevator, looks over at Nimoy, looks back at him and goes, Bridge.
Oh,
He's like, oh man, you can tell. He says, Nimoy says, we can tell you guys. He didn't back away from it.
TJ Hooker, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, he did that stuff, right, which is good, but eventually he just embraced it and said, yeah, that's me. And he gets the joke. Like, have you ever seen some of those movies? Yeah. True Gun, right?
Uh-oh. Interception.
Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Like, so I mean, that was like two or whatever it was. And even then
Before, that's why.
you know what's a great movie that still stands up? Science fiction, Outland.
Okay, I heard that one before. They never show anything over here. I can't believe Babs just threw. Ooh, nice call.
I didn't like what they did with the legacy of aliens and that, having the two other characters killed in the crash.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That pissed me off. But as a movie standalone, I thought it was pretty scary. Movie, remember there's a couple. Okay, not the sergeant, but Frost, the other black guy, hands out the weapons
Yeah.
on the ship.
Yeah.
He's wearing a shirt, and on the shirt it says "Peace through superior firepower." And it has a jacket that it's like a company jacket, like Adidas or whatever. But his is the Weyland Yutani group.
What is